Hey everyone, I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes, and for some reason my camera's not going on. So I'm gonna play around with that a bit and see if what's going on with my settings. Doesn't look like it's off, but just a couple more minutes. Sorry for the delay. Hi, Commissioner Diamond. I'm here. I just can't seem to get my camera to go on. Um, if you can hear me, right? Okay, and you're on mute.
Yes, I can hear you. All good.
Sean, I'm gonna try popping out and coming back in. I just want to make sure I didn't like click a button that says don't share my camera.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna pop out and come back in and just
nope.
make sure.
Yeah, no worries, Linda.
Okay, I'll be right back. I honestly I don't know. Like this is um I haven't changed any settings on my computer.
Weird.
Yeah. I don't even let me just check in my settings one more time. Because I've always allowed Zoom to access my camera. If not, we'll just carry on. I'm sorry.
Sometimes I've left my laptop camera blocker on by accident too, like the privacy thing on the camera.
Yeah, and I keep flipping it back and forth, and I cannot, it doesn't seem to make a difference. So let me just double check in my settings just to make sure. I bought a PC a couple years ago, which I've regretted. I should have stuck with Apple. So let's double check. Camera access is on. It should be on for everything. Yeah, I have it on for Zoom. It's on. Let me just try it one more time up here. It's so odd. No, it's definitely on. Well, I don't, sorry, if you feel like you're looking into the void, I really am here. And Commissioner Diamond,
I'm on mute. Yeah, we're
okay.
fine just hearing you, not seeing you. I will
Okay.
say that once this happened to me, and it turned out it was because something had slid over the camera on it wasn't the settings, it was like a physical thing in front of where the camera was. So
Yeah.
that would be one last thing I would try.
Yeah, no, there's nothing physically in front of my computer, and I've slid the little thing back and forth several
Okay.
times now.
Okay, well,
Because I have had that problem in the past where I didn't know it was covered and then I felt like an idiot. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, well, maybe, yeah. Anyway, we'll get started. We don't have a very long agenda, but I did want to get through things. Hopefully I'll be able to share my screen because that's more what I wanted to so do some details with. In addition to myself, Commissioner Laughlin, we have Commissioner Diamond, and it looks like we have a few people in attendance. But typically for our smaller committee meetings do tend to be smaller than our full ANC. And a reminder, our full ANC meeting is next Wednesday, April 2nd at 7 p.m. And community members are always encouraged to attend, also via Zoom. Hopefully my camera will work by then. And there's always a time for public comment during those meetings listed on the agenda. So I always encourage you, if you have something new to bring to the ANC and want to announce it, we do have a time for public comments. So with that, I know from our agenda, and my apologies that I forgot to make the agenda public facing sooner. I forgot to also click that. I think I'll throw that in the chat. So the first item we had on the agenda was about a request for a public trash can at Calvert and Cliffborn. And actually, Commissioner Diamond, I think you had a bit more insight or information about this particular request, and I wasn't sure if this was something that needed
yeah,
some additional assistance from us, or
can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, yeah, so I actually went and talked to the constituent today, and so what the situation is there used to be a trash can in the 1800 block of Calvert Street, right in front of the address that I sent you, and the trash can was removed. And evidently, several other trash cans have been removed as well in Lanier Heights. Which at first I thought, well, maybe they were taken away because of for security reasons, because of the marathon, but they haven't been put back. So the resident was very on top of things and actually went on the DPW website, and evidently to request a new trash can, it requires ANC approval. So I actually just sent you the text in an email of what could be a resolution or a letter. I don't know how we need to send it to DPW, but I went and looked today and there was no trash can there. And there's a lot of just litter on the street because people are used to having the can there and it's no longer there.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't had a chance to check. You just said you sent the text for a potential resolution.
Yeah, yeah. And I just did it like 10 minutes ago. So
Okay.
you can take a look at that. And the trash can has been gone for like over a week. So this isn't an emergency thing, but
Okay.
and I contacted the MOCR, nothing has moved forward. So I think we need to take the next step because, it's when it seems to be a big problem mostly for the dog walkers who, are used to having the public cans to put the poop bag in. So when
Yeah.
they're there, it's really problematic.
So this isn't the first time I have signed on to, or there was a request for a trash can over on Mozart Place, which wasn't in my ANC or my SMD, but I think it was vacant at the time. We put in a letter of support for the trash can. The trash can was put in, and then like a couple months later, it was removed. I think because it got overwhelmed. It was just full of trash all the time, and so I think and maybe we'll talk to Commissioner Wood about this, and maybe we can invite DPW either to a full ANC meeting or maybe to the next PSC, because I'd like to get some insight or from DPW about trash can placement, but why they're removing them. Even especially
Exactly.
the ones that we've requested, because like if there's a problem that they're overused and they're being abused by residents because they're putting household trash in there, then we can help do additional education to alleviate. But I'm a little confused why they are put in and then often taken out.
Right. No, I totally agree. And I'm really glad I actually talked to the person who emailed me, because she actually has a friend who's in Commissioner Palmer Swanson's SMD who complained about the same thing. So it seems to be happening throughout 1C. And I think getting to, rather than just putting in the request this week for this new trash can, getting some background information like,
Okay.
is there a plan? And also, I mentioned the composting bin in front of Marie Reed, which the resident didn't know about. So,
Okay.
there might be some kind of plan with, the DPW has. So I think it's a good idea to explore a little further before we make a move. That sounds good to me.
Okay. I'll mention it to Commissioner Wood, and
Okay.
since the next, because I think it would be helpful for all the commissioners to hear. So I'll coordinate with him and on also our MOKR, and maybe we can get a DPW person. Because like I always want to sort of believe in the bureaucrats in a way, because sometimes I know there's a reason to what they're doing.
I
Um,
totally, right, totally agree, especially when this resident said, oh yeah, it's happening other places too,
Yeah.
which leads me to believe that there is some kind of plan, but it'd be nice if we
Right.
knew about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because we don't want to give residents false hope about putting trash cans in if they're going to be removed
Yeah.
for logistical reasons. So but yeah, that is interesting. No, we don't want dog poop bags going on the ground.
Yeah.
So all right, that's helpful background information. And I will just say for your information, Commissioner Diamond, and for anybody in attendance, we don't have anything specific that we're voting on tonight. Most of what tonight is just more informational and getting some feedback. So there's nothing
Okay.
specific we're voting on. Okay. And then the next thing was, let me see if I can get to I think I'll start with the ANC grant stuff. Okay, so hopefully. Okay. Am I sharing an
Yes.
ANC? Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So that's working. Yay. So so I guess a little bit of background. So the Office of the ANC, I think this is David. Yeah, this is dated from November 2024. They have done a lot of work to sort of revise and update sort of the guidance for ANC commissions about grant applications and what is permissible for ANCs to consider for grants. And so we needed to do on our own ANC website, and also for guidance for the public, of sort of, I'm cleaning that up to make it clear about what those guidelines are. And so the first thing that I'm showing here on screen, this is specifically from the Office of the ANC's website. And they call this the ANC Grant Instructions and Application Form 100. And this is the one that was revised and updated and posted to their website in November in 2024. So this is the actual guidance that grant applicants should follow. And I'll go through some of this in more detail in a moment, but the thing that a grant applicant will notice is that at the page 4 of the application is where the actual application starts with the information. So instead, in the past, at least for 1C, we had like a Google Docs that people could fill out as their application. But now we need to switch over to using what the Office of the ANC has provided, to submit any grant requests that we have. So I just want to clarify that because I know in the past it had been a Google Doc and now it needs to be via this form that the Office of the ANC has provided us. And let me, at least so I can see someone's face. Sorry. Okay. So I think the things I want to sort of highlight, because we get a lot of questions about what's permissible for a grant and considerations that need to be made. And so I want to also, first thing that we're pointing out is not every ANC in the district we're not required to give community grants. It's up to the discretion of that commission for that area. If it's part of their budget, if it's something that they put aside money for, it's sort of up to each ANC sort of how they want to decide to spend those funds. For 1C, we've decided that we do want in our budget to put aside money to award grants. In the past, we sort of had a limit of, 5,000 per grant, but there's nothing in this guidance that says that we can't give more. But I think but it will be very much determined by our own budget and what we can afford as an ANC to give grants. So depending on what sort of comes in, if it merits, a certain need and we think it'll be very valuable to the community and meets these certain guidelines, we could probably push beyond that 5,000 limit, but typically it's what we've done in the past. I think right now that's what we're sort of budgeted for, and we'll probably sort of stick with that. But most of the grants that we've done in the past, 5,000 was typically enough for their needs. So I think the thing I'll highlight here is that at least what we look for in the commission and what the Office of the ANC will really look for is that the funds must promote a public purpose, benefiting persons who reside within the commission area. And the law defines public purpose as one that substantially benefits the community and is not done for the primary purpose of benefiting the private entity. So, we certainly, if you were applying for a grant to ANC 1C, we would, we're really going to highly scrutinize that grant and activity would benefit our ANC area. So primarily the Adams Morgan community. And that it cannot be a request that would benefit, like we do get a lot of requests from like PTAs, like the schools for like food programs or like lunch programs. And we can't grant those because only the individuals who are attending the school can get access to the thing that we're funding. So we get a lot of requests for that, and it is something that we've been pushed back before from the Office of the ANC that we cannot provide a grant to. If it is a community luncheon, or no, food, I should take food off the table. Food we can't fund. But if the school is doing a community-wide event that anybody in the neighborhood in the Adams Morgan community is welcome to come to and can participate in, that is something that we can support. But I say if food is in your grant, we will most likely not be able to support it. The other thing I wanted to point out is that in addition, and I'll show this on what we're going to do, the guidance for our website, in addition to submitting the application that is at the bottom of this form, you also need to make sure to submit your application at the same time to the Office of the ANC. Their email address is here. This was not a requirement in the past, but this is something that is now required. So they need to be included up front. And that's helpful for us because they can flag anything and let us know up front if they think, if the application was reworded or if their statement was more, specific. Like the purpose of that is both to help us as a commission, but also to help the grant applicant just with more specifics and to help them sort of understand sort of the guidelines that they need to fall into. So I appreciate that. It's nice to have that support because we're not lawyers. We don't read it, and it's helpful that the team at the office of the ANC can help with that or help with that process. And so like, I won't read through the specifics, but like this is, I'll post this in the chat and it'll also be part of our guidance on our website. But like, this is I just wanted to really point out this particular piece, this document, because it is very different from what was done in the past. Commissioner Diamond, did you have any questions or anything you wanted to ask or point out?
No, I think that's really great. And I will just say that in the meetings that I've been at where these things have been discussed, food is just definitely a no-no, and just highlighting the fact that it needs to be for community benefit. So I think it's really good that the guidelines will be on the website.
And one thing we might do is we'll put examples of grants that have been funded in the city. So maybe people have some examples of what has been funded. So like an example for our commission, our most recent grant was for the DC Archaeology Society. I'm getting that wrong, but it was an archaeology. They did a program last summer related to the Underground Railroad. And so there's actually Kalorama Park has ties to that history. It was really cool. And so they did sort of they had activities where the public could sort of learn and be like archaeologists for a day. But the thing that we helped them, they submitted a grant to get assistance to help pay for postcards and posters to help advertise their event. And then they gave that information, they gave the postcards and posters out for free to anybody in the community. And they also did a lot of community engagement with residents in the area. So that was an example of a grant that we were able to fund. And sometimes if we can't support someone with a grant because it may not fit the guidelines from the Office of the ANC, we can consider to do a sponsorship. There's not a specific form necessarily that's filled out for that. That would be more of reaching out you can reach out to me, Commissioner Laughlin, and we can sort of review that request, and then we bring it to the commission for a vote. So a thing that we've done in the past is a sponsorship, is that we did a sponsorship for Platform of Hope, which is a nonprofit that's in the Festival Center. And they had a program where they were, some of the programs they do is to lend or provide laptops to low-income families. So we weren't able to give them a grant to purchase the laptops because those laptops would be only used by individual people and not the whole public. But instead, what we did to help support their mission was to do a sponsorship where we donated money. And then as part of that, they helped to advertise our ANC meetings and their newsletters. And they solicited or sent out to their very large email group information about our ANC meetings. So in that sense, like trying to reach a broader public. So it's like we paid for advertising in a way, is basically what we did. But it was money well spent. This is part one of it. And then the other piece that I wanted to highlight, let me go grab it. Oh, and I thank you, Sean, I couldn't see. Brian, if you had a question from the bid, I know you've helped with grant guidance and have been around longer than I have on this.
Yeah, sorry, that was actually from the previous thing on trash cans.
Oh, yeah, excellent, even better.
But yeah, if any of those cans are in the bid boundaries, please let me know, because we obviously have a relationship with DPW, and I'd be really curious to see what cans are disappearing, because that's kind of unusual behavior. I'm kind of honestly a little worried that maybe somebody is reallocating them around the city to places where they think they might need them more. But
oh, I didn't think of that.
That would be
Brian,
concerning.
The one in
Okay.
question is within the confines of the bid, so it's because the resident mentioned how great it was that bid people come and clean up. So
Yeah.
it's it's at the intersection of Cliffborn and Calvert Street. And there's one on the south side of Calvert Street, but not on the north side. So there's a can like in front of Mama Aisha's, and there's a can in front of Compass Coffee. But there's not actually one on that block of 1800 Calvert Street, and there used to be one. And the issue seems to be that there aren't any cans on like that particular side of use the can, but it's more like there used to be a can there and now there isn't one. And so the resident was just wondering why and what happened.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so our boundaries don't go to don't quite go to Cliffborn. Basically, it stops at that intersection at Lanier and Adams Mill. Um, but yeah, I'd kind of be curious what cans are missing. And we do boundaries do go down Lanier a little ways. There's not a commercial property down there anymore. There used to be Adams End down there, and they used to be,
Yeah.
but it's gone
The
condo.
the other can that I know that we wrote a letter of support and it went in, and then like it wasn't there long, was on Mozart Place. It was over by HD Cook by the school.
Okay.
And I when I would walk by it would get very full very quickly.
Yeah.
And so
Um,
my concern there is that it may have been residential trash, like people from apartments were throwing, and sometimes I don't know if again, question for DPW, if they remove something, if they feel like it's being overused.
well, that's a good point. If residents are using it, and then that's not cool, and that causes problems. But yeah, I mean, the best way to tell if it's a can that's in the bid is if our guys are servicing it and they'll put like a plastic liner in it
Yeah,
when they empty it. The DPW, the ones that just DPW does, don't have that.
right.
Um, but yeah, if you could share with me the
Mhm.
locations, and I can check to see if there's anything I can find out.
Great, thank you.
Thank
Sure.
you. Um, the mystery of trash cans. All right. The other item, just quickly, and this would be, I can make it a little. All right, let me back here. Right. So in addition to this was sort of a draft I came up with. So right now, like I said, on our current ANC page, we don't have any guidance right now about how to apply for a grant, because we wanted to get it updated. And I'll work with Commissioner Wood to sort of add a tab to our current website with this information. But what I want to make clear with the instructions is that if you're applying for a grant, you need to fill out the form that I was showing from the Office of ANC. And then that it should be submitted to myself. And then I also included the treasurer. What I plan to do here with this, I didn't put a specific name for either myself or Commissioner Olson, who is our treasurer. I specifically didn't put our names there because I wanted this to be a document that will last beyond me. So what I'll probably do there is link to our website to our current commission, and then whoever's the PSE chair at that time and the treasurer at that time, then that information will be more up to date, and then someone won't always have to come edit this page with the name of the current ANC serving in that position. So they'll, and also for the chair, this will be helpful because sometimes our treasurer, if a grant application comes in and it's for like a very large amount of money, can alert us immediately and say like we can't cover that. So to keep those individuals in the loop, and then also that the applicant will also need to include the office of the ANC. This I also included because like, I think, and I think this is common, at least since I've been PSE chair, most applicants do reach out ahead of time, to get more information. And so I encourage individuals, if you are, have a nonprofit or a community group in the neighborhood, that who's considering applying for a grant from our ANC, it's highly recommend you reach out, and communicate that to us, because then we can help you with the process and then make sure that what you'd like to apply for would fit in with the current guidelines. We don't want you to do a bunch of work, if it's not going to be applicable to the grant process. Basic language that we don't have specific deadlines of when you need to submit your grants in. It'll be more of an ad hoc and on a rolling basis, but certainly if it's time sensitive, we can take that into consideration. So you don't have to get it in by the 15th of the month or anything. It's just on a rolling basis. And then basic guidelines of how we will review the grant applications. And a lot of this is within the statutory requirements of the DC code. So recommend that individuals review that as well. And I think, the biggest components of that from that DC code is that the grant project needs to benefit individuals who reside within the geographic boundaries of ANC 1C. And I will find a link there. I think Commissioner Wood has it on the website, but to put the map of what our boundaries are. And then this other component, which I sort of wrote in, which is heavily influenced by sort of how the Office of the ANC wants to see information. So we, are asking that we get a report within 60 days from when the grant is provided, and then every 90 days until the funds are either spent or the project's over. That will be really helpful to our treasurer, because the treasurer has to submit reports on a quarterly basis. And so this would really help us with our own bookkeeping and staying ahead of that, and also comply with the guidelines that we have from the Office of the ANC. And then smaller things, if something hasn't been like if you have money that's unspent, just details about why that didn't happen. So for example, the archaeology one, I think at the end they had like 32 cents that was unspent, but we still had to have an explanation of why. So just saying, if it doesn't zero out, we'll need an explanation. And also for grant recipients, receipts, you need to keep receipts. Like that's really important. And I think that's most of it. And then I think I need to fix the web link at the top to go to this form, but I also put the form at the bottom, and I can work with Commissioner Wood to make it pretty. But I don't know if there's, Commissioner Diamond, is there I'm just trying to think, a blind spot, anything that we might, and we can always revise this as we go and make it clearer, but I hope this is clear enough guidance.
Is this on the website now?
It's not. It is
Okay.
not. So I wanted to
So-
share it first here
Yeah.
to edit. We can edit as needed, and then I'll work with Commissioner Wood to get it on our website.
No, I think it seems comprehensive to me. Yeah.
And like I said, the one other thing I might try to add, is I might put a list of examples below at the bottom of grants that have been funded. Just so that it might help applicants have a good sense of if that's the best route for them. Unfortunately,
I think that's great. And ideally at some point in the future, we could have, post things on the website of, pictures or things like that.
We have in the past had grant applicants like come back to a meeting and like tell us how it went. But I think unfortunately for our ANC, some of the grants that we've funded in the past are ones that we would not be able to fund now.
Right.
So I might have to, but I know other commissions have examples. And so I might maybe just pull from across the city input some examples, but yeah, because we used to provide some grants sometimes to Jubilee for their childcare program, but that is when, and sometimes it was for food. So in the past that was, you know, the office ANC has just changed sort of their guidelines. And so what we used to do for grants, we just have to evolve with that. All right, I think, and if there's any comments from the public or any questions I wasn't able to see, you can always raise your hand, put it in the Q&A, or you can feel free to reach out to me at any time. And then the last item I have, and this is again just more planning and exploratory, and Commissioner Diamond, you already mentioned this a little bit earlier about the new compost bins. So, you know, for that to be successful, we definitely want to do some education around it. So I was thinking like any thoughts or ideas about some tabling to advertise about, or to try to get engagement with residents about the bins. I know there's a food waste week or something. Did I put that on the agenda? The timeline? No. I know there is the Sierra Club had sent some information to me. There is a food waste awareness week happening in April.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know if we really have the time to plan something around that. And I know April's busy with Easter and Passover and other things. And I was like, maybe we should shoot for something in May because the weather will be getting nicer. But I don't think the farmers market starts until June, because I thought that might be a good opportunity. Or we can do May and June. But I think some tabling, we could partner maybe with the Sierra Club Zero Waste group, because I think they wanted to do it. But I really want, we worked really hard to get at least 2 in the Adams Morgan community, because not every ward got, or not every ANC got that many, but we have such density in our community that we're able to make a good case that we needed more than just 1.
Yeah, and I will say I have started using it, and I've been putting bags in the one in front of Marie Reed. And the first time it was like 60% full, and the next time it was like 90% full. And I am not I don't do things just I don't do a lot of things on my phone, and it was very easy to download the app and figure it out. And it really is a great resource. And
Oh no, you froze a little bit, Marie, or Commissioner Diamond.
I think getting that message out I mean, it's all good. It's win-win for everything. So yeah, let me give it some thought on how we can uplift that message, because it's such a great resource.
And Brian, while we have you here from the bid, and you can throw this in the Q&A chat, is there going to be a Porch Fest this year?
Yeah, so Porch Fest will be May 3rd.
Okay.
And I mean, I was raised my hand to suggest that you'd be welcome to come to movie nights. It'd be a good place for it. That's going to start May 22nd.
Okay.
Fest, you can do it if you want, but it just may be overwhelmed, and most of the people won't be ANC 1C folks.
Oh, that's fine, because they might have a compost bin in their neighborhood, and
yeah,
they're pretty distinctive. So if they've ever wondered what it is.
yeah, and
Okay.
we'll have a stage on the plaza in front of Marie Reed. The PTA is gonna do something there.
Okay.
But yeah, if you guys want to set up a table there, that'd be fine. Or
Well,
wherever.
yeah. Well, that's good to know. And then the May 3rd, which Porch Fest. Yeah, let's take that back to the rest of the commissioners, Commissioner Diamond, because we've been talking about, as an ANC, trying to do some more public facing tabling and face-to-face communication. And it sounds like the month of May has a couple good opportunities where we'd have more than just like the Sunday foot traffic. We'd actually have maybe some more people.
Yeah, and evidently there's also the giant yard sale, like I think it's May 17th, which is another opportunity
Okay.
like for to table and talk to residents and all, in the neighborhood. So yeah, there'll be some opportunities coming up.
So May sounds like a good month to really because we could do all three. And then among all the commissioners, we could trade off or find a date that works best for us. Sorry, Brian, to ask you one more question. Sorry, Sean, if you can promote him again. For Porch Fest, if the ANC were gonna set up like a table, should we coordinate that through the bid, or is there any because I do have a what do you call that? A cabana, like a
Pop-up tent.
a pop-up tent. I do have a pop-up tent, if we wanted to use it as a commission, do we need to coordinate anything with you all to like have sidewalk space or anything?
Yeah, I guess, well, yeah, depending on where you want to set it up.
Okay.
Yeah, talk to us. We'll figure out a good spot if you want to be like in the street closure area, or if you want to be over near Marie Reed, where the bin is. Yeah, just reach out. We can figure it out. We're still we're just kind of getting the ball rolling. So I don't know exactly where everything's going to be. We're also going to have a stage at Jubilee, at former SunTrust Plaza.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Brian, don't go away. I have a question for you too.
Okay.
You're very popular tonight.
Yeah. So my question is about the property where that used to be CVS and Red, White, and Basil.
Yeah.
So is Mint, is it still open? So are they still a tenant, or they're going away or have gone away?
As far as I know, Mint's there for the long run.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I think the property owner is probably going to redivide that property like it used to be, when it was multiple storefronts before CVS
Yeah.
merged them all. So yeah, but he's not gonna leave it empty.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because we had a discussion about it last week, and then I was a little confused. So that's good to know, because Mint is a great resource as well.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Mint going away.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay. No, that's helpful. Yeah. I want to use that pop-up tent more. I bought it for a music fest and I feel like I need to use it for other things. Okay. So, Commissioner Dime, I think, I'll send out a summary of notes to the other commissioners and throw out those dates, but I think that would probably be a really good opportunity for us to take advantage to do both information about the compost bins, about the ANC meeting schedule, and then come June or July, if we want, I can reach out the Sierra Club and see if they're interested. Maybe we do some tabling like when the farmers market starts up again.
Yeah, that sounds great. These are all great ideas.
Because I know some folks will walk their stuff over to Mount Pleasant. And granted, while there's not a compost bin at Unity Park, which I am sad about, but maybe we can try for later. At least people could know if they just go down over to Harris Teeter, they would have an option there to put their compost. But those are all the things I have for tonight. Sorry, I'm gonna get my camera to work.
No, we accomplished a lot. Yeah, and we hear you loud and clear, so that's great. All right, I say we can end the meeting now. We've accomplished what we need.
Absolutely. So everyone, I hope everyone is staying doing a lot of self-care and taking care of themselves during some uncertain times. But the District of Columbia is my home and I love it here, and it will always be the District of Columbia, and I don't care if they try to rename it.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.